everybody. Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's 2025. So we're here at the new house. So this is my new sewing room. It probably looks different. I'm going to do a little video to really show you around the house. I've been trying to get a few of the rest of the things finished so that there's not stuff laying all over before I did it. So, but I am all moved. And hello, Bernadette. So I'm in my new sewing room. This is my sewing room, and the living room's right over here. And then that way, the other direction is like it's like a Four Seasons porch, and that's where my long arm is. So this is the whole middle of the house here, and the living room's right here also. And I also have my crafting stuff in there. So hi, everybody. People are still coming in. So welcome to 2025 and Sew Along with Jan. Thank you for giving me the time off to get my move done. And everybody cross their fingers. I had an offer on my house today. So I'm hoping that the old house will be sold soon. So everybody cross their fingers for me. And I was very excited to hear that today. So Lola's watching me. Lynn. Yay. Lynn says yay for the house. Yep. Lynn said Lola's her little dog. So is Lola watching me? Yeah. So everybody cross your fingers for me. I'm ready to be done driving. The house I'm living in now is in Iowa City, and the one I was living in was in Coralville. So there's about a half an hour. It's like almost all the way out of Iowa City and almost all the way out of Coralville. So there's like a half hour in between. And so it takes a little, it's a lot of driving. I have to go out there every day. It's cold and you have to check the house. And so I've been doing a lot of driving. So I'm going to be really happy when I don't have to do that every day. So, but the house is basically empty out there. I just have a few things to pick up. I was just leaving like my cameras, my security cameras are out there and that kind of stuff. And my a vacuum cleaner. No, Lynn, both of the deadbolts were unlocked. So the front door and the back door, both of them. So I'm glad I went out there tonight. So yeah, I had to make a second trip. The gal was showing the house, and she has a little trouble with the deadbolts, and they don't get locked. And so I went out again tonight. I made a mad dash across town to get to the other side of town to get back in time. And I got both of the deadbolts were open. So I needed to, I'm glad I went out because I'll sleep tonight. So hello, Kathleen. Kathleen, you wanted the recipe for the chicken and rice. I will message that to you after class. Okay. So I will do that. I have it just written out. I can just send just the recipe to you because you were asking about that. Okay. So give me a second here. I'm going to turn off the banner. So it's so good to see everybody. We got people from Canada. Is it cold in Canada? It's been kind of cold here up until today. It warmed up a little bit. It's been awfully cold, been single digits, very cold, So it's been nice I got so cold last night. When I got home, I just went to bed. I was so cold. So thank you I'm very excited about the new house. It's a very beautiful little house. Very open. I did some work on it. So like I said, I'm going to do like a little tour of the house. I just haven't been home long enough to do it. I've got the rest of the house to sell and a few things to do. And then I will give you a little house tour. So, okay. So Kathleen, yes, I will send you a copy, so you can write it down. I'll copy and paste it probably on the Facebook group, because I think you asked on the Facebook group too. Very cold in northern Maine. Yep. Good. Yep. It's been a little cold. So we have not had a ton of snow though, which is really good. So I'm going to knock on wood because we haven't had a lot of snow. So that's really good. But yes, I'm hoping to get the house sold very soon. So Yes, you won't know what to do when you only have one house to oversee, Lynn. Lynn, that is true. I've had two houses. This is the second time in my life because I also had my father's house to deal with. So I've had two houses on and off for quite a long time, and it'll be nice not to have so much. So, okay. So remember to enter to win. We're going to have a drawing tonight. Okay. And you enter to win, and it's going to be this little shadow box with since we're getting close to Valentine's Day, I thought we'd do a little Valentine thing. And, this is the prize tonight. So you enter to win by making a comment, okay? And then I'll draw at the end, and then I will mail this to you. So whoever wins it just needs to either message me or email me, and I'll give you the email address at the end. And then I will mail this to you, okay? So this is the little prize for tonight, this cute little shadow box. Okay. Thought we were getting close to Valentine's Day, so thought we needed to do something Valentine's-y. This was a really fun project. That was a little project I did, and there's a video on that project actually in the Sew Along with Jan YouTube channel, and it's under the scan and cut stuff. So it was a scan and cut project. So, okay. All right. So tonight we're going to make, yes, the comment needs to be right where you just made it. Yes, in this chat, you have to make the comment in the chat, and I've got a little thing going that'll draw a name randomly. Okay, so just make a comment while you're watching. Okay, so we're gonna make recipe towels tonight, and I did these quite a few years ago. These are my mother's recipes. So these are recipes that we made in our home for years. And so these are tried and true kind of recipes. They're not like weird stuff like hors d'oeuvres and stuff. So I left my favorite one till tonight. And my favorite is this chicken and rice recipe. And it was very simple. It's even something simple that I can make. And I put it in the oven to do that. So that's what we're going to do tonight, is this chicken and rice recipe. If you want to purchase my designs for the recipe towels, there's 10 of them, and I'll show all of them to you while this is sewing. They are on my website. So it's sew-along-with-jan.square.site, and you can purchase the design. So if you want to sew some of these out, because they are really good. And what I have in my kitchen is I actually have the recipe towel in my kitchen, and that's how I make my chicken and rice or some of the other ones. So, okay. I do not like to cook. Jan doesn't like to cook, and she does make this one. I do make chicken and rice. And I also like the other one I'll show you. There's another one I like. It's called, there's a chicken noodle bake. So it's like a chicken and noodles you put in the oven. And then the other one I make quite often is the orange salad, the orange tapioca salad. So I do know how to make these recipes, because that's something that, that's something that my mother helps. So, okay. My mom liked to do recipes. She liked to cook. My mom liked to cook. My grandmother liked to cook. And I am working on my grandmother's recipes too. So, and we're going to do one of grandma's recipes in the next class in a couple weeks. So, all right. So I'm going to switch the camera over, and we're going to talk about stabilizer and how to do these recipe towels. These have a lot of stitches in them. So give me a second here. I'm going to switch over my camera. There's lots of words, so there's lots of stitches. Okay, let me get my microphone switched over. Okay, so give me a second here. I need to pull my computer just a little bit closer so I can see it. All right, so here is I started this recipe towel because, as you can see, there's lots of words on it. So this is the chicken and rice towel that we're going to do tonight. Oh yeah, the orange tapioca salad is really good. So I will show you that one as well. So what I did is I pre-sewed the lettering out, because it's just so many words and it takes quite a while. Like this towel says it takes 65 minutes to sew out. See, most of it is in the most of it's in the the recipe. There's so many letters. So okay. I got some 60 weight thread. Okay, so we're going to talk about that too, Patty. We're going to talk a little bit about the weight of the weight of the thread as well. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. So what I'm going to do first, let's just talk about the stabilizer. Okay, so we'll talk about the towels and the stabilizer. Give me a second here, and I'll grab some of the towels. So I have some towels. This is what I've been using over the years. These are the Aunt Martha's like retro striped towels, and they are a little harder to find now, but I have been able to find a few. I used to get them at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and then like at Walmart. And now I don't think Joann's might have them online, but our Joann's doesn't have much in the store anymore. I did find some at Hobby Lobby. They're just not the Aunt Martha's, but there's some that look very much like these. So these are very nice quality cotton towels. You know, just use a good quality cotton towel. These are some that I get at Walmart. These are just plain. There's no stripes on them. Okay. So these are just plain towels. I like these too. And I think these are actually Aunt Martha's also. I get those at Walmart usually. And then I did pick these up at Walmart in the last couple of weeks. Like here's one that was a retro tea towel. And these are Aunt Martha's. And then these are light gray stripes on them. Yep, Amazon might have them. I'm just not a big Amazon shopper, Kathleen. So they might. So if you found some on Amazon, that would be fine too. But that's what I've always used. So then these were nice. I got these at Walmart. And then here's some, and these are just, I don't know if you can see it too well. These are a little bit kind of yellowed. They're not as white. They still look nice, and they have a black stripe on them. And these were Aunt Martha's. I got these at Walmart. So yeah, so that's my favorite towels is these Aunt Martha's because they're just a good quality towel and they're nice cotton towels. So just use a good quality towel and you'll be fine. And these are the type, let me hold this up so you can see. You can kind of see it if I pull this back. Okay, so you can see these are the ones that have the stripes on the sides, and then it has like the little loop on the top, you know, so you can hang it up. Adeline, I do not pre-wash, and we're going to talk about washing them in a little bit, but I do not pre-wash them. I stitch them and then I wash them, and I'll show you why I do it that way. Okay, so what I have done then is we're going to talk about the stabilizer. So everybody kind of know what type of towels I'm using here. Okay, I'm using good quality cotton towels. Aunt Martha's is what I've been using for years. I've been making these towels for years. Okay. So now let's talk about stabilizer. I use a special type of stabilizer when I'm making, yes, I'll be doing some more sublimation soon, Sharon, yes. I have been doing, I use a special stabilizer for these, and what I use is a tearaway because it doesn't stretch. So we need to use a tearaway stabilizer. But I use a tearaway that has a wash away property. And what that means is that when you tear the stabilizer off, because it's a tearaway, when you tear it off and then wash them, the stabilizer slowly comes off the back, except underneath the stitching. It stays under the stitching where we need it to keep it from getting all wadded up in a ball. But this comes off. So let me show you the back of one of these towels so you can see. This is one that's been washed. Okay. So you can see there's still a little stabilizer back there, but every time you wash this, it's going to come off a little bit more. So like this one's only been washed once, and you can see that the stabilizer, and it's quite soft. Okay. So this works out very well, this type of stabilizer. So let's talk about what it is. Okay. This stabilizer that I'm using tonight is actually the dime stabilizer, and I can give you some names from several different major brands of stabilizer. This is the dime stabilizer, and I used Fuse and Tear, which is a fusible tearaway with that water soluble stabilizer or water soluble property. I do not use this for the terry cloth towels. That is not what I use for terry cloth. I use this for the cotton towels when I'm using cotton towels. So this is fuse and tear, and fuse and tear is the iron on. So I have one ironed on here. If I push this back, you'll be able to see it. So like this is pushed, this is the iron on. You can kind of see this shiny part. This is ironed on to the back. And then this is, whoops, here it is. This is called tear and wash. Let me get the little piece of paper out here. This one I just had rolled up. So this is called tear and wash. So I actually use 3 pieces of stabilizer on these because there's a lot of stitches in them. Okay. So what I do with the tear and wash, it's the same type of stabilizer without the fusible on it. So what I've done, turn this over without whacking the camera. So what I've done here is I have fused the fuse and tear onto the back of the towel. Okay. And then I have 2 pieces of the tear and wash on the back also. So I just floated those. Can you see that they're not in the hoop? These are just floated underneath. So I iron on a piece of the fuse and tear, and you want it big enough so that it's completely hooped in the hoop. You can see see the top of it's up here, the bottom's down here, and it's all fused down. Okay. And then I just took my 2 pieces of the tear and wash and laid them underneath. So I have 3 pieces of stabilizer. Okay. All right. So let me turn this over. Now that is the dime version of that kind of stabilizer. So that one's that's the dime. Fuse and tear and wash. Okay. If you have Floriani stabilizer, they have one that's the same type. They have a fusible stitch and wash fusible, and it's the Carol, I will address the jump clips here in a minute too. Okay. So you do fuse on 1 piece of stitch and wash fusible, and this is the Floriani, and then I have 2 pieces of stitch and wash, just the plain without the fusible. Okay. So that's what the Floriani equivalent is. That's why I wanted to write this down so you could see it. Let me pull this back so you can see these. OESD also has a version of this. Okay. OESD's version is called Ultra Clean and Tear Fusible. So that's the one I have fused on. And then Ultra Clean and Tear. So that's just the tearaway. So what these are is a tearaway with a water soluble property. It does not completely wash out. It stays under the stitches, but it washes out where it's just open. Okay. So that way they're fairly soft, and but they are flat, and they're not going to roll up in a ball because they have so many stitches. Like this one has 47,000 stitches in it. So you need to have stabilizer according to how many stitches you have. Okay. So does everybody understand what I used for stabilizer? Does everybody understand that? So we got some little sewing to do. So what I did is, this is the chicken and rice recipe. Give me a second here. Get these out of my way. Maybe. And with the design, you get, here's this chicken and rice recipe. Okay, this is the printout, and at the bottom are the colors. Now I had done these in Floriani, just so you know, but when I made all of mine, I converted them to Madeira. So mine are done. I'm going to do mine in Madeira poly neon tonight. And so I did the first 2 colors, which are this little title up here, and then the recipe. So I've got the first two colors done. So I'm just going to start this, but then I'm going to show you, as this is stitching, I'm going to answer your questions and show you the other towels in the set. So let's get this in here. Again, 1 piece ironed on, okay, to the back. and 2 pieces floated. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is if you're using a 6x10 brother hoop, this is what I usually do these in. What I do when I iron on my piece of stabilizer here, I iron it on beyond the bottom of the towel just a little bit. Okay, so see how it's kind of sticking out? Here's the end of the towel, and I have it sticking out maybe about 4 inches or so. Okay, because when this hoop really helps me hoop these so that they're all about the same distance from the bottom, the designs. I made these to fit in a 6x10 hoop easily. And so what I do is I take the towel when I hoop it and I just fold it in half down the center. And I don't know if you can kind of see my line, the line right here where the center is. Can you kind of see it? I just fold it in half. Okay. And second here. Then I just line it up with the things on the hoop. So like this is where your grid would fit in, these little things. And I just line it up with the center of the hoop. And I take the hem. Can you see the hem here? Right, here's the hem. And I take that hem and I put the hem at the bottom of this hoop like this. Can you see how it's right along the bottom of that hoop? And that means that everything's going to be about 2.5 inches from the bottom. And that seems to work very well. Okay. So I've always used this 6x10 hoop when I make these because it's just easy to get it in the hoop and get it organized so it's a nice distance from the bottom. All right. But I do want to have that stabilizer past the bottom like I did here so that I have something to clamp onto. Okay. And I also use my PR when I do these a lot, and I use the 8x12 hoop in there, and that works quite well. All right, so that's how I hoop them. I just eyeball it. That's the best way for me to tell you. Just eyeball it. Okay. And I just folded it, got my middle, got it straight in here, and hooped it in, and then put the bottom of the hoop right here, this inside thing, right along the hem. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get this in here. I did a couple of the colors already, so you wouldn't have to sit here and wait, forever. And we're going to talk about clipping. Somebody asked about the clipping. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, be careful when you put these in that you don't stick the end of the towel underneath the hoop. Ask me how I know, because I've done that before. So I'm making sure that I don't have my hoop, my towel under my hoop there. Okay. So we are on step number 3, and it's the chicken. So we're going to get the chicken started, and we'll talk about some other things. That's yellow. So we will talk about some other things. Whoops, second here. I've got a piece of stabilizer that's kind of crinkled. The second here, I see there's a fold in my stabilizer, so I better fix that. Now, somebody asked about the Avenir. I do have my Avenir. You may have seen my video that I did for the unboxing, but my Avenir is still at the store. Yeah, no flipper dues. Yes, no flipper dues, Lynn. Okay. All right, now we can go back. So I'll go back to the beginning of this one. Second here. Okay. Now we're going to start our chicken. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about thread while we're doing this. So I am using 40 weight thread, and you can do one of two things for your lettering. You can use 40 weight. This is 40 weight thread in my letters. Okay. Oh, you hold up your notebooks so you can take some. If you can read my writing. But that's the stabilizer. Floriani Stitch and Wash, Dime Tear and Wash, OESD Ultra Clean and Tear. Okay. That help Bernadette? Okay. So let's talk about thread. So I am using 40 weight thread, and that is fine to use 40 weight thread. Oh, it's too close? I'll hold it up again. That work? Okay. Okay. I am using 40 weight thread. Normally when I make these, I use 40 weight thread with even the letters. Now, I have a little more trouble with Floriani because it's very soft and it likes to break a little bit because some of these letters are pretty small. So the other option for you would be to use a 60 weight thread. So give me a second, I've got some. So I also have some 60 weight Madeira that I can use, and I often do. 60 weight is thinner. Okay, so this is a thinner thread, and Floriani also makes a 60 weight. Most companies do. This is Madeira poly that in the 60 weight. But I normally don't have to. I can usually do this in 40 weight because I use either Madeira poly neon or I use the brother thread. And most of them I do in 40 weight. But if you're having trouble with your lettering, like breaking a lot, try some 60 weight because it is thin. You know, there's a lot of letters and they're small. Okay, so whichever works for you. All of mine are done in 40, and I'm going to show you mine. Okay, so I normally do mine in 40. So we've got our little chicken going here. So that makes sense for you for the thread weight. Because I like the 40 for sure on the picture because it covers better. But sometimes it's nice to use a 60 on the letters if you're having letter problems, okay, with them like breaking and stuff, okay? I normally don't, Roseanne. Roseanne asked if we slow down our machine. I normally don't have to. I usually sew at about 7, maybe 800. Let me see what this machine's at right now. I don't know. You see where we're at. This one's at 800. So I usually sew about 7 to 800. And I do on the PR also. I turn that one down sometimes a little bit because it is not as loud then. So sometimes I put it at 600. The needle size, I use a number 11 needle. So it's a number 11 embroidery needle. I have a pre-wound NEB bobbin in my tight bobbin case for this, my Luminaire. This is my Luminaire. I don't have my other machine home yet. So I will have it and I'll do more classes, but we have to keep it at the store for a little bit. Yeah. I digitized these, Kathy, in the dyeing software. I've had that software for many years, and so these were done in that software. Oh, the single, I just use a 2-spool stand. I'll hold it up. I just use a 2-spool. I can only do 1 spool at a time. And the other ones are kind of big. And I don't know, I've never liked those big ones. So I usually just use a single 2-spool is what comes with the machines. Okay? Somebody asked what my spools are. Very rarely, Maureen. Maureen asked if I ever embroider at the 1050. Very rarely, because that's just really fast. And the only time I do is if I'm doing a photo stitch, because it does cut off a little bit of time. That's the only time. So, okay. So number 11 needle, my regular 60 weight pre-wound bobbin that I normally use with my 3 pieces of stabilizer. Because remember, we floated 2. And there's 1 adhered, okay? Oh, I know, I love this, okay, so the Avenir's like this too, that the lids on the luminaires and the Avenir's, they made them flip back like this because the older machines just, you had to take the lid off. And so I feel like I have a thread stand that holds more threads because I can lay my threads up here, see? So I really like that. And that's why I only use a single, double spool stand. So. Okay. So we're sewing away on our chicken here. And let's see. So we talked about the towels. Everybody got the towels. Figured out the towels. Those are Aunt Martha's cotton towels. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and change the color. I think I'm on a red. Let me look at my recipe here. Yeah, so I've got red. So yeah, I'm going to do the little comb on the chicken's head. But I didn't figure you'd want to sit here for an hour and watch all those letters sew out. I sewed them out over the weekend. Takes a while when you do all these letters. I will warn you, that's the only thing about the towels that takes a while, but it's fun to stitch them out. All right, we're going to get the red in here. No, Cindy, the lid on the Stellaire is the old style one. You have to take it off to put a thread stand on. You just ordered the recipes too. Yeah, I'm not a big cook, but you know what? What's fun about these towels is that they are recipes that I ate my whole life. And I do make some of these recipes. Some of these I do make, and they're easy recipes. My mom liked to cook, but she liked stuff that was pretty easy. So, so we cooked a lot. You know, we cooked out of boxes. You know, my mom was busy and my dad was working, and you know, we didn't cook like from scratch every day, but we did do a lot of see the red. See what's the next one? I think it's the orange. Yeah, I need to do his feet and stuff. So we'll get the orange here. We did eat a lot of quick meals because, you know, we were all busy and we had activities and everything. And Mom didn't cook from scratch. We did lots of casseroles. So yes, I am using my Luminaire. I'm not using my Avenir. It's at the store yet. And I am going to do more classes with that. I promise. I just have to leave it there until we get some more in. We were kind of allocated only, you know, so many, and so we didn't get to get all of them at once. So, okay. So some of the other towels I have done here. This is some of the other towels in the set. So here is chicken noodle bake. Okay, and this one I did on kind of a black towel. So chicken noodle bake. Let me pull this back just a little bit so you can see them a little better. Chicken noodle bake. I got them all sewn out. This is the last one. And then my mother loved salad, so we had this Christmas glitter salad that she made every year. And you use like cherry and lime jello, and then you cut it into little squares and put it in like yellow jello, and with like pineapple and stuff is really good. So that's this one. Christmas glitter salad is what she always called it. And then hamburger and rice. This was a big thing. We made this on the stove. This was made in a skillet, so I made it a skillet on it. So this is hamburger and rice. So we made that quite a lot. And then my mom and dad belonged to a camera club, and this was Mom's favorite dessert recipe that she did for camera club. Was this blueberry crisp? This is like to die for. So this is one of her favorite ones. I did that one on a pretty blue towel. I had one with blue stripes on it. Oh, I think I need to do his eyeball here. Let me see. I need some white. The next one's white. So we're getting the chicken about done here. Get some white. I left my favorite one for last. Chicken and rice has always been the favorite in the house. So my dad just loved it and I'd make him chicken and rice when I was living up there with him, and he just loved chicken and rice. That, and he loved meatloaf, so we made meatloaf. My mom didn't make meatloaf. I don't remember really ever having meatloaf as a kid. She must not have liked it. My dad did. So I made him meatloaf. So we'd make meatloaf, chicken and rice. We'd make chili. So I can cook a little bit. The designs, I think there's 17, and you get all 10 of them. There's 10 of them, Cindy. I think it's 17. Hi, Teresa. All right, let's see. Then my mother loved candy. So fantasy fudge was one of her things. She loved to make fudge, and she was very good at candy. I am not very good at candy. So I've always had trouble with that. So that was one of the recipes she did. Oh, looks like I need black now. Just a second. So get the black. We're going to do the outline on the chicken. And then this one will be done too. And then I'll show you what to do with the backs of them. Next month, I think we're going to do some stuff with fabric cutting and applique. So I thought we do some fun stuff, just some fun, easy stuff. Teresa, I get the towels. I've gotten some of them at Walmart. I've got some of them at Joann's, at Hobby Lobby. And then some of the gals said they got some of them in their Aunt Martha's. Some of them said they got them on Amazon. Okay. All right. So my mom, like I said, my mom liked to make candy. Peanut butter fudge was one of her big things. So this was the peanut butter fudge. All right. And then this was the only salad my mother could get me to eat. I'm not a big salad person, but I love orange tapioca salad. So this is the orange tapioca salad recipe. And my my dad always had this hanging over his stove so that he could make his orange tapioca salad. He always read it off the towel. So I know the mom loved peanut butter fudge. That was her favorite. My favorite is this one. So these are the powdered sugar cookies, and they were called French butter creams. And these are like the melt in your mouth, wonderful sugar cookies that you just sprinkle like the colored sugars on. You don't have to frost them. And oh my gosh, these are so good. These are like the best cookies ever. So this was my powdered sugar cookies, French butter creams. So these are like my favorite cookies. Yes. So I'll show you how they look, Marcia, here in a second. Okay. And then here's my mom. Like I said, my mom liked to make candy. So she also made divinity. So here's the angel divinity balls that she'd make. And it was so funny. My grandmother would help her. So grandma would be sitting at the kitchen table just to stir as fast as she could stir while mom poured everything into a bowl, you know. And this was the recipe for angel divinity balls. So that was something we made every single Christmas. So am I making you hungry? I ate supper before I started. So, okay. So that's my mother's recipes plus this one. So that's the 10. I'm working on grandma's. Got a couple of them done. My grandma made this wonderful pumpkin pie, and my grandma's name was Esther May. In fact, I wanted to tell you today is my grandma's birthday. She'd be 121 years old today. So January 15th is her birthday. So this is her pumpkin pie recipe. And then grandma made this wonderful chocolate cake. And I had a heck of a time finding the recipe because she never wrote anything down. And this one was one that I found in this little teeny cookbook that when we were cleaning my grandma's house out, there was a little cookbook and we found it there. And that was that cake recipe. And I wrote it down so I could put it on towels. So this is grandma's chocolate cake. Okay. So I've got a couple of her towels done. And then, we're done. So let's take a look at this one. Yes, I did that one in the software class. Yes, I did this one in a software class, just showed everybody. So if you want to know how I make the towels, I did them in the Dime software. And if you go to my YouTube channel it's under Dime Perfect Embroidery Pro, the playlist. There's a class there, and I put a link in the video description. There'll be a link in the video below, and also to the designs if you want to buy the designs. But I have the link to the video that I made the recipe towel, so it shows how I did it. Okay, I didn't figure I'd take time to do that. Now next time we are going to do a little bit of actually assembly of the design, because we're going to do some towels by Sublimation. So the Sublimation class will be in 2 weeks, and we're going to do some more recipes, some of my grandma's recipes. So I can show you those towels real quick, and then we'll talk about what to do with the backs here. So here's grandma's. I did these with Sublimation. So here's her little cookie she always made, Clegians, and this is a Sublimation towel. Okay, So it really was a fast way to do it. And I'm going to show you how to set it up in the software even too. It's not hard at all. And then I did a lot of her recipes were very old fashioned. So she liked to make fruitcake. So that was one of the things she always made at Christmas time. So this is her fruitcake recipe. Yeah. Oh, your birth. Oh, hint, hint. The 26 is a great. Oh, it is, Carol, huh? Yeah, my grandma would be 121 years old. I can't believe she's been gone so long. She passed in 1996. So it's been a long time. Okay. So when I'm all done doing this, today's your mom's birthday too, Maureen? She would have been 101. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, my grandma and I did a lot of stuff together. It was really hard for me to find her recipes though, because she just didn't write anything down. So my mom did some of them for like the church cookbooks. A lot of these recipes were like in our church cookbooks, the Iowa or the Anamosa sesquicentennial cookbook, that kind of thing. So that's what where a lot of these recipes were written down. But my mother had to write my grandmother's down because she never wrote hers. So, all right. So what do you think? Here's the chicken and rice. Here's chicken and rice. Here's the chicken. And I made a little CD of these. When I first started selling these, they were on a little CD. And I made it and I gave one to my dad because I did it in memory of my mother. And my dad cried when I gave him the CD. So I still have that CD that I keep up on a shelf because he always had it on a shelf because it was in memory of my mom. So, okay, so that's chicken and rice. So now let's go talk a little bit about how we finish these things. I'm going to turn my page here. Okay, so the first thing I do is I like to clip the jump clips before I take it out of the hoop because it's a little easier. No, so yeah, so Marcia just asked there are jump clips. So can you see them? The machine will clip a lot of the jump clips, but these are pretty close together. So you can see that there are some jump clips because the letters are pretty small. So what I tell people with these is don't get too worried about all the jump clips. What I do, and I'll show you what I do, I like to leave it in the hoop and I just clip the big ones, like in between the words. I don't get too worried. But I like to leave them in the hoop because it's a little easier to get your scissors in there. And you notice I did not use a topper. You could, if you wanted to, use a clear topper, but I don't like to have to pull it off. So I did not use a topper. This towel is pretty smooth, so I did not use a topper. Okay, so I'm going to take these out, like these letters here, here's a jump clip here, and this is pretty big, so I'll take that one out. Okay, but I like to leave it in the hoop. Okay, but then when I get down to all these little letters, what I do is I basically just take the jumps in between the words. I don't worry too much about the jumps in the words. Like there's one real big one there, so I do that one. But like the rest of these, I'll just skip that whole word and I'll go in between the word rounded and cup and clip that one. So because what I'll show you in a minute, like all of these, I just leave them and I do the one between cooked and rice. Okay. And then like this chicken, the one in the word chicken here, I probably would do this one. There's a little one right here. Okay. But in between the words mostly is what I do. And then I'll show you why I don't clip all the clips, because when you wash these, and somebody asked me, do you wash these before you sew them? And no, I don't. And the reason I don't is I like that antique look. So I would clip all of these little clips like in between the words. Okay. Any ones that are in a word that are like really long that you can really see, I would do. So I don't clip any more than I have to, because obviously there's a lot of clipping because there's a lot of words in here. But the reason I don't clip it any more than I have to is if you look at these real close, let me see if I can get this close so you can see it. There are some clips in here, like some little teeny ones, but you know what? When you wash these, they're so small, you don't even see them. They just kind of shrivel up and you don't even see them. So this one has been clipped this way that I basically clipped like between the words. Okay. And I just do the biggest ones. I don't clip all of them. Just stuff that was really going to show, or really long ones. Because once you wash it, and that's why I don't wash it till after they're done, it kind of gives it this antique look. So see how my towel looks kind of, kind of wrinkly. I like that look on that. Okay, so these have been washed one time. And they just kind of have that antique look, and I just love that kind of look on my towels. So I always wash these before I give them to anybody. Okay, so let's look at this. So I would go ahead and I would trim all of these out. Okay, what about the backside clipping? I do not clip on the backside at all. So the backside, there are going to be some little ends. So I'll show you one that's done here. I'll show you some little ends, and there's going to be some little ends in the back. But you know what? Once you wash it, they kind of disappear. There's a few little ends, and if you're really upset about those, just clip them off a little bit, but don't clip through the knots. Okay, so I rarely clip the backs. I just leave them because you're really not going to see it. Because once you fold your towel like this, you're not going to look at the back. Slide hoop. Oh, and they really get the jump stitches. Yeah, I've seen those little scissors with the little hook on them, kind of. Yeah, those are really awesome. So I would go ahead and I would finish now. Use same color in bobbin? No, Marcia, I use just white bobbin thread in mine. It's all done with white bobbin thread. I don't use matching thread in the bobbin. So I would go through, I just finished clipping this, and I'm not going to do it tonight in front of you all, but just clip in between the letters or the words mostly. And I like these little double curved scissors to do this, but if you have other scissors that you like for clipping jumps. But see, mostly I'm going to clip in between the words, and that's where the biggest, longest jumps are going to be. Okay. So I'll have to clip this afterwards because I want to show you how to take this stabilizer off. I like to clip the whole thing in the hoop just because it's a little easier to hang on to it and get it turned and get all the clips, but I'll do it later. So then I'm going to take it out of the hoop. Okay. Again, this was my 6x10 hoop. I love this hoop. It's a great one for this. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to pull off as much of this stabilizer as I can. Don't get too worried. Do as much as you can. This is the two pieces. This is the two I floated. Okay. And floating means you just lay it under the hoop. Once you get it hooped, this one was hooped. That's the iron-on. That means just pick up the hoop, slide the stabilizer underneath, and then once you start sewing, it picks it up and takes it with it. So I'm just going to do, as much of this as I can. I usually do the top layers first. I'll take this off. That takes a little bit. And sometimes I take my scissors, wherever I put them, just a second. Here we go. I'll take my scissors if I can't get down like in between the paragraphs here. I'll just take my scissors and slide it through in there so this comes off. So try to get as much off as you can. Don't get too worried if you're not all of it off, because it will come off. So we'll take this off. Takes a little bit when you got 3 layers, but I just work at it and get it all off. Okay. And then I'll take once I get the top 2 layers, and I take my tearaway layer off, or my fusible layer off, like this. Okay. So then when you're done, you're going to have, some stabilizer there, and then you're going to have just your letters. And then I take, like I did a whole bunch of these one weekend. So I went ahead and just took them to my washer and I washed them on, well, I usually wash them on cool because, can you explain the floating of stabilizer one more time? Oh, sure. So when you float stabilizer, I ironed on this piece. So this is the piece I ironed on, and then that's hooped in the hoop. But then what I do is I just pick up the hoop and I slide my extra two pieces down underneath the hoop and then lay the hoop down and just kind of pull it up a little bit, slide it under. And then once you start sewing, it will actually take that piece of stabilizer with you. No, Solvay will not work. Solvay is a topper, and if you just use a topper for the whole thing and you wash it all out, when your towel comes out of the dryer, it's going to be in a wad like this, and you don't want that. You need some stabilizer on it to hold it out so that it will lay flat. Because you notice that all my towels lay nice and flat, and it's because there's stabilizer underneath the stitches. Okay, so if you use just like a water soluble on this type of towel, when you wash them, they'll be in a ball. They'll be wadded up in a ball like this. They'll come out of the dryer like this. And you don't want to give people that. So, okay. So that's why the tearaway, because then I can wash these. So after I get this all torn out as much as I can, I have a little more work to do, and I'll do that after class. Okay. Then I take it to the washer. I wash them on cool because the Aunt Martha's towels have a tendency to want to bleed a little bit for some reason. All of the colors do. So what I do is I have those color catchers, those color catcher things that you can buy to keep things from running. I put in, like I had about 5 or 6 of these towels in the washer. I put them on cool and cold. And then after that, they can be put on warm, but I just did cool and cold to start with. And then I put in about four of those color catchers in here to keep anything from bleeding. And you notice that nothing's bled on any of these. Okay. So the color catchers are very important when you wash them because some of these towels like to bleed a little bit. And after they've been washed once or twice, they're okay. So, but color catchers are my friend. But then see how after I took it out, can you see the stabilizers around the letters? Okay. Pretty much around the letters, but see where this part is? See how clean it looks around there? And the stabilizers underneath the cookie jar. All right. But this is what's holding out your letters. So if you do a water soluble stabilizer, there's nothing left. You're just got letters and fabric, and all that's holding it is fabric, and it's not enough to hold it out nice and flat. So I've always used this kind of tearaway on towels because I want them to stay flat. And you have to use about 2 to 3 layers because, again, there's a lot of stitches in these. Like this one that we just did was 47,000 stitches. So it's a lot of stitches when you do letters. Okay. So does that make sense to everybody? So I washed it with like 3-4 color catchers, cool and cold, cool and cold, or you can do warm, but I usually do cool first. And then the next time they'll be on warm. And then, but I use color catchers in these, and that really, really helps. Okay, let's see. Cool to warm water, color catchers. And then I think they have that vintage look. I kind of like that. I kind of like that vintage kind of, it's a little bit on the Ripley side. It looks like it's an old towel, and it's not, it's brand new, but I just love the looks of that. And I like that with my quilts too. So when I get done quilting my quilt, I toss it in the washing machine. How do I dry them? I just put them in the dryer. And then I press them. I just press them out with a steam iron afterwards. So, but I know I dry them in the dryer. When they're this type, yes, Bernadette. When they're this type of towel, I do. I use that same stabilizer, even if it's not a recipe towel. If I'm doing some sort of a cotton, like hand type towel for a kitchen, yes, I do. I use well, this was the Dime Tear and Wash and Fuse and Tear. I use that stabilizer, and I tear it off and I wash it before I give it to somebody. Okay. So there's the towels. I have a little bit more clipping to do on our chicken and rice towel here. I'm not sure where it went. Oh, here it is. A little bit more pulling off of the stabilizer, but you can see right now there's a lot of stabilizer on here. But after I wash this, like this little bit that's right here, all of this will be gone. It'll just be the towel, you'll see. And I'll get as much of it off as I can. But every time you wash these, a little bit more of the stabilizer that's like not under stitching will go away. And you'll notice that as you wash it, they get, because like right now it feels kind of hard, but see, these are really soft. After you've washed them, it really softens that stabilizer up, and it isn't hard and like a rock. So after you do after you do the washing, it's softer. So okay, so I have a sad thing to tell everybody. People keep asking about Gigi, and Gigi did get to move over here with me for about 3 weeks, but unfortunately, Gigi crossed the Rainbow Bridge a couple of days before Christmas. She had been quite ill on and off for the last year, and her little body just couldn't get better. So I am kittyless for the first time in 30 years. It's very weird. So I lost my little sewing buddy. She always liked to hang out in here with me while I was teaching, and unfortunately I don't have her anymore. So thank you for asking, everybody. Gigi liked it here. It's a beautiful little house, and she liked it here, but she had been ill for a long time, several years, and so unfortunately she just wasn't able to pull back again. So yeah, fur babies are part of our lives, aren't they? And she was a good kitty. I do miss having her here to sew with, because she liked to sit here with me and sew with me every time. So, okay. So, and you can see the difference in the towels. Like this one hasn't been washed. Yeah, Gigi loved it here. She actually really liked it. She found a couple places to sleep, and she just loved it here. So she was fine, but she just couldn't, her little body couldn't pull back. So, all right, so this is the washed one, and this is the not washed one. So once I wash this is going to be a little more antique-y, and it is just a little smaller. They do shrink a little. Let me see. So like here's the one that I've washed. It's not much though. Maybe it might be not much. Maybe a half an inch or so difference in size. So it's not much different, but it sure is soft. And then the stabilizer softens up so much. And after you wash these some more, it will actually get softer yet. So once you wash them more than once. So I just washed these once. So I just most of these I made a couple weeks ago, because I had some of them made, but I hadn't didn't have them all done. So I wanted you to be able to see all the towels from the CD. So all right. So what do you think of recipe towels? Yes, she loved my wool pressing mat. Gigi always sat over here. So this little mat, it's kind of lonesome right now because there's no kitty sitting on it. She always sat over here on my and the other place she liked to sit was like straight ahead of me here in front of the machine. So all right, so the recipe towels are fun. I just wanted to do some technique stuff, like how to do like cotton towels like this. And this is the same stabilizer I use on almost all my towels, whether it's recipes or just sewing on them, because lots of times the designs we put on are pretty good sized, and so they need to be stabilized properly for the number of stitches. And then you want to be able to get most of the stabilizer off so that it isn't showing on the back. But how many people really look at the back of the towel? I mean, you probably will hang these over or something and you won't even see it. Okay. So that is our recipe towels. I think I got all my notes. Let me see. I removed as much stabilizer as possible. These have the water soluble properties, so when you wash them, it kind of washes away where there's no stitches. And make sure color catchers are the big thing. Okay. Color catchers is the big thing. All right. And then I showed you some of this is the next class. So 2 weeks from today, we're going to do some sublimation on these towels. And this is one of my grandma's recipes. And I'll do a couple other recipes that night, probably another one that night. And then here's her little cookies. These are the little, they're like molasses cookies, but they have those anise seeds in them. So they have that little licorice taste to them. And she called them cleachins. And I don't know if that's the right word, but that's what she called them. And they were about this big around, and the batch made like 1 billion of them. So that's what those are. And then these towels are sublimation towels. So I got these at Hobby Lobby. And these they're like $1.49 at Hobby Lobby. And this is the sublimation towel that I'm going to use for that class. So those will be really fun. And I found that they have a waffle towel too. But the waffle towel, I thought maybe these little letters may not show up too well. So I chose the flat, the smooth towels. So I'm trying to read. Oh, no, Carol, I'm not going to do any more settee pillows. Not this year. Yeah, these are not done with, these are actually not done with spray, Kathy. These are actual sublimation blanks. So these are already, these are sublimation blanks. So they're polyester towels. In fact, I think I thought it said, did it tell me yeah, these are 100% polyester towels. And they're a very nice quality. I mean, they feel really soft, but these are actual sublimation blank and they're 100% polyester. Okay, so I got these at Hobby Lobby. Okay. So are there any other questions? So I'm going to turn the camera back and we'll have our drawing too. Turn my drawing back just a second here. Get the drawing and the camera. Okay. So we'll have our drawing, and yeah, the Hobby Lobby should have them, and they have those waffle towels, which I think I'll do some stuff with that too. But I thought for the letters, the flat ones would work better. I wasn't planning on those, Sandra. Those sound really neat, but I wasn't planning on those from Kimberly. I haven't seen those yet. The save the date ones, haven't seen those yet. Okay. But the towels are fun. The recipe towels. So and I will link these in the video below. You can get the designs from my website. It's sew-along-with-jan.square.site. Okay. And so then I will also link the video that I made the web recipe towels. Like I show you how to do it in the software so you can see how I set it up. But I figured we'd already done that once, and you could just go watch that video if you're interested in making your own. They're really fun because you might have family recipes you really like, right? And then you can do them. And I've done recipe towels for other people over the years, and like family recipes and that kind of thing. So it's really fun. It's something that's a nice gift for a whole family. Like you could give a special thing, and you can send it to everyone. You can give it to everyone in the family because they all like those cookies or that candy or whatever. So yes, these could be done in P Design, Marcia. I just did them in Dime, but you would be able to easily do them in P Design. If you watch that, you can kind of see how I set it up. So okay, yes, P Design 11, it would work. Yeah, P Design. And if you watch the video, you can kind of see how I set it up, and you can apply it to your other software because it will work fine with that. I use the Dime normally, so okay. Yes, you can scan that if you have anything handwritten, which I don't. I would love to have some handwritten stuff, but my grandma never wrote anything down, and neither did my mom. So most of ours are typed in cookbooks. So that's why I didn't do that. But that would be something that would be fun to do. We'll have to try that sometime. Do some scanned handwriting and use the scanner in Design Center. That'd be really cool. So, all right. So let's have our drawing. So let me get the little little shadow box with the rolled roses in it. Okay, so let's see who's going to win. Give me a second here. I got to get over to the other thing. So make sure you made a it says everybody made their comments and you get entered. So let me see who's going to win. I'm scrolling through. Teresa DeWinter. Teresa DeWinter, you are the winner of the shadow box. So Teresa DeWinter, I know she was here. I haven't seen her comment for a little bit, but I know she was here. So Teresa, if you send me, you can message me through Facebook, your mailing address, or you can email me at janshieldsewing@gmail.com, and I will mail this to you. So Teresa DeWinter is the winner of the little shadow box. So, okay. Oh, cool. She's still here. Thanks, Teresa. Okay. So next time, 2 weeks from today, what is it, the 20 something? 29th? Does that sound right? 29th, we're going to do some more recipe towels, but we're going to make them with the sublimation printer instead. And I'm going to show you how to set up the lettering and stuff using the free version of the Silhouette Studio software. Okay. So we're just going to actually do it, and then we're going to press it so you can see one. And it makes it really easy. And the Silhouette Studio software is free. You don't have to pay for that to use your sublimation printer. And you can really do a lot of lettering in there and stuff, and it makes it really easy. So we'll just do that. We'll just make a little towel right as we're working with it, and then we'll press it. So okay, so thanks so much for joining me, everybody, for So Along with Jan tonight. And remember that some of the stuff will be linked below the video if you had some questions about the towels. I'll put some of the towel links and stuff too that I talked about. So in there, I need to add a few things. But then I will see you in about 2 weeks, and we will do some more towels, and we'll play with our sublimation printer. So thanks, everybody. Have a great night.